everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to attempt to make 3 bracelets today in one video, and I hope it does not take several hours. I'm going to try my best. I'm using some of the most recent Beebeecraft products that I got. In case you're not familiar, Beebeecraft is an online craft supply store, and they have lots of beads and finding and jewelry making supplies. They just have a ton. If you have a channel and you have at least 100 subscribers, you can apply to be in their YouTube program and get products and do tutorials for them. I'll post a link in the description box below so you can check it out if you want to. They offer free shipping for orders over $25. Their website says the free shipping is not only for customers in the United States, but also other countries. I have a coupon code. It's Teresa10, and I'll put it on the screen here in the description box below. It'll save you 10% off your first order if you decide to order from them. I'll put links to everything I'm using today in the description box below, along with links to all my other tools and supplies I'm using, as much as I can find them. And I'll also link the Beebeecraft homepage in the description box below in case you just want to go look there. These are the Honey Handy Natural Tiger Skin Jasper Round Beads. They're 8.5 millimeter. And I got these because people had asked me, and I'm always getting asked to make men's jewelry, more jewelry for men, and I don't usually do that because I rarely have any beads that I think men would like. But I got these with an idea of making some men's jewelry, so that's what these are. These are just some bigger beads that I had in my stash. I don't know, I'm pretty sure they're gemstones, but I don't know what kind they are because I've had them forever. These are some spacers that I had in my stash. I don't make I'm going to make a stretch bracelet. This first bracelet is going to be a stretch bracelet. I don't do very many stretch bracelets because I worry about them breaking. I've never had one to break, but I just always worry about that. But for somebody who doesn't make very many stretch bracelets, I have got a huge roll of stretch magic here. This is 0.7 millimeter, and that's what I'm going to use today. I do have several stretch bracelets on my website. I made a bunch of them. My husband was in the hospital a couple of years ago, and he was in there for a week. And I stayed with him the whole time, of course, and I had to bead while I was there. And I couldn't take any of my little teeny tiny beads because I didn't have all my lights and magnifying glasses and stuff there that I could use. So I had to just take some bigger beads. And so I just took some bigger beads and made some stretch bracelets while I was there with him. So I do have several on my website, but I just don't often make them because I worry a lot about them breaking. But like I said, I've never had one break. Oh, I forgot. I've got my GS Hypo Cement too. I forgot to get it out. I'll be putting on my knots, or on my knot that I make. And of course I got my scissors to cut my stretch magic with. I'm just going to do the supplies one at a time for the bracelets. So that's what I'm going to use for this stretch bracelet. So let me get some of them poured out here and I'll be back. Okay, I got me a piece of stretch magic cut here, and I've got a big, I don't know how long, this is way more than I need, but I've got plenty of it, so I just cut off a length. I don't even know how long it is. I'm going to pre-stretch it because you need to pre-stretch it. If you don't, as you wear your bracelet, it'll stretch out and your bracelet will get saggy. But don't do what I often do and pull too hard and snap it back on yourself like a rubber band and hurt yourself. I've done that a lot of times. So I'm just going to stretch it out. And I'm going to put a bead stopper on here so I won't lose all my beads. And I decided to just put 3 of these big beads in here because all 6 of those was, it looked like it was going to be too long, too big. So I don't never know how long to make men's bracelets anyway, though. I'm going to put 4 of my tiger skin jasper beads on here. And a daisy spacer. And 3 of my tiger skin jasper beads on here. Daisy spacer, and 3 more of my tiger skin jasper beads. It's just a really simple pattern. Daisy spacer, And I'm going to do my three of my big beads that I had in my stash. Daisy spacer. And then 3 of my tiger skin jasper. Daisy spacer. 3 tiger skin jasper. Daisy spacer. 4 tiger skin jasper. And my big spacer bead, it's got a big hole that I'm going to use this one to hide my knot in. So that's what I got. Hopefully that's not too long. Well, I just dropped my, see, I told you if I took that stopper off, I would drop something off. Okay. Now I'm going to make a knot, and people do this different ways. You know, some people just do an overhand knot, several overhand knots. Some people do surgeon's knots. I just do this. I saw this, I think I saw it on the back of a different kind of stretch cord that I had one time. Maybe the kind that Beebeecraft puts out. I'm not real sure. I can't remember the name of that, but I'm just going to take both pieces of my stretch cord. I'm going to go over my fingers here, go back through, and I guess I should have said I'm going to use my beading awl, but I did not say that. I'm going to use my beading awl here to guide my knot and bring it down to my bracelet. And wherever I saw that, it said that this was supposed to be a really, really secure knot that would never come loose. I mean, I don't know about never, but that's what it said, I think. So I'm going to take some GS Hypo cement and put on my knot. See if I can get this closed back up. Ooh, what do you know? And I think that's probably good enough, but just in case, and since I've got such a big bead there to hide knots in, I'm going to do right over left. And then because I can't do left over right because my left hand won't do anything, I'm just going to switch hands and do right over left again. And then I'm just going to cut it off. I'm going to pull my knot into the big bead so it'll get glued in there when the glue dries. And there's my little stretch bracelet. My first ever on video stretch bracelet. So now I'm going to get my stuff together and make another bracelet. Hold on. Okay, this one and the next one are going to have pretty much the same beads in them. I've got my tiger skin jasper beads here. I've got 3 of the big beads that I had in my stash. These 2 beads are from the Amazonite beads that I got from Beebeecraft. I just picked out a couple of there were a lot of pastel shades in there, but I just picked out a couple of the not pastel ones. I've got some bronze daisy spacers. I've got a link here. I'm going to do a button and leather closure, so I've got this link here to tie my leather to, and a couple of jump rings, a couple of wire guards, a couple of 2x2 crimp tubes, and I have a button. I think that says new on it. It's really the only bronze button I had, though, that didn't have like flowers and hearts and pretty things on it. And I'm making this with an eye toward it being for a man, so I decided they probably wouldn't want hearts and flowers and stuff. So I'm going to use this one. And I've got my soft flex bead stringing wire and fine. And for tools, I've just got my chain nose pliers, my bent chain nose pliers I got from Beebeecraft many years ago. My crimping pliers for beadalon, and my cutters. These are Xuron. And I think that's all. I'll be putting some GS Hypo Cement on the knots on my leather that I make. I think that's everything. I don't know if I said my leather, my Exotica 1.5 millimeter dark brown leather. So let me pour some of this out and I'll be back. Okay, this is just a really simple stringing project. I've got my bead stopper on here. Forgot to say my bead stopper. Of course, I already used it for the last one. So I'm going to do 3 of my tiger skin jasper beads. I'm going to do 1 of my daisy spacers, 3 more of my tiger skin jasper beads, one of my daisy spacers, 1 of my Amazonite beads, 1 of my daisy spacers, my 3 big beads that were in my stash and I don't know what they are. Daisy spacer, another Amazonite bead, daisy spacer, 3 more of my tiger skin beads, daisy spacer, and 3 more of my tiger skin beads. And now I'm going to crimp. Take my crimp tube and put it on here. Take my wire guardian. Go down to the other channel of my wire guardian and back through my crimp tube. Hold my wires apart so they don't get crossed, because if your wires get crossed, your crimp is more likely to fail. I'm going to take my crimping pliers and I'm going to go in the second part that has the little notch on one side and the little circular part on the other side. I'm going to lay my crimp in here. I'm going to squeeze. And that puts each wire in its own little channel there. Now I'm going to go into the top part of the crimping pliers that just has the circular part on each side. And I'm going to lay my crimp in there and fold my crimp. And I'm going to tug. That's good. So I'm going to cut off my extra wire. And now I'm going to cut my wire off my spool. I'm going to take my other crimp tube, my other wire guardian. I'm going to go back down through the other side of my wire guardian. Back through my crimp tube. And on this side, I try to go through a bead or two, because it's harder on this side. Everything's in the way, and if I can get down through a bead and get my hands down here, at least I can get my hands out of the way. Sometimes I have to have a little help. my pliers. I'm holding on to my wire guardian and pulling my wire. Try to keep it from getting crossed. You need about 12 hands at this part. I don't want there to be any slack in my bracelet, but I don't want it to be real tight either. So now I'm gonna try to get a hold of everything here while keeping my wires from getting crossed. I'm going to go into that second part of my crimping pliers again like I did before. Lay my crimp in there. Alright, now, got to stay turned around here. Okay, now I'm going to go into that second part again, squeeze, then turn it around here. Go into the front part like I did before, lay my crimp in there, squeeze and fold my crimp. If I can get a hold of it. Okay, now I'm going to tug. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to cut off my extra wire. Now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and my bent chain nose pliers and get a jump ring and thread on one side of my bracelet. And thread on my button. Oops. This can be a little fiddly. It's kind of hard to close your jump ring around that button, but it can be done. There we go. Make sure it's closed up well. Okay. I'm going to take this other jump ring and put the other end of my bracelet on. And put my ring on. Close my jump ring back. Okay, now I've got about a 10-inch piece of my leather here. I'm going to put it through my ring. Find the ends. And then I'm just going to tie an overhand knot right here. And I'm going to bring it down close to my ring, but not real tight against it. I think that's probably good there. So now I'm going to just pull on each piece of leather. Just tighten my knot. Okay, now I'm going to take my button and see where I need to make my knot for my loop to go. Probably about right here. Just going to tie another overhand knot. Before I tighten it, I'm going to check my button again. It's a little snug. I might just loosen it down here a little bit, not much. Now I'm going to pull on each piece of my leather. Take my pliers here and help me pull. Take my button again. Okay. Tighten some more. Now I'm just going to cut off my leather. And I'm going to take, I'll take some GS Hypo cement and put it on these knots, but not going to make y'all watch me do that again. And I was lucky to get the top on it as easy as I did when I did the stretcher bracelet, so that might not happen again, but I'll put some GS Hypo cement on there. So there's my bracelet that I have made, thinking that it might be okay for a man. So now I'm going to get my stuff together and make a matching, oh, you can't see that. Now I'm going to get my stuff together and make a matching ladies bracelet. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to make this one trying to match the other one, sort of. So I'm using all the same materials and tools and everything, except I don't have one of those big beads from my stash. And I have 4 of my little Amazonite beads here. They're sort of a pale, kind of peachy color, I guess. So I'm going to do 3 of my tiger skin jasper beads, a daisy spacer, 3 more tiger skin jasper beads, a daisy spacer, 4 of my 4 Amazonite beads, daisy spacer, 3 tiger skin jasper beads, daisy spacer, and 3 more tiger skin jasper beads. And that is every single one of my tiger skin jasper beads. I used the whole strand up on these 3 bracelets. So now I'm going to crimp. This is what I've got here. Now I'm going to crimp. Put my crimp tube on. Put my wire guardian on. Go back through the other channel of my wire guardian. Back through my crimp. Hold my wires apart so that they don't get crossed. Take my crimping pliers and go in the second part again like I did before. Lay my crimp in there and pull it up so there's no wire coming out the top here. I'm going to squeeze. Put my wire each in its own little channel. I'm going to the top part of my crimping pliers and lay my crimp in there. Fold my crimp. Tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. Now I'm going to come down here and cut it off my spool. I'm going to put my crimp tube on, my wire guardian, come back through the other channel of my wire guardian, back through my crimp tube, I'm going to go through a bead on this side. Pull my wire down, hold on to my wire guardian. Pull my wire down. Make sure there's no slack in my bracelet, but I still want it to be able to move, so I don't want to do it too tight. Go into the second part again. Lay my crimp in there and squeeze. And turn it. Lay my crimp in the top part and squeeze and fold my crimp. Tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. Now I got a prettier button for this one. I got a button with a little flower on it. So I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and my bent chain nose pliers and take a jump ring. These are 6mm jump rings. Put my jump ring on there and then put my button on. And then close my jump ring. A little fiddly to do this with the button in the way, but I think I am mangling this jump ring. I might have to get another one. Might have to get my other bent nose pliers. Yeah, there we go. My bent nose pliers there just wouldn't, they just wasn't strong enough, I guess. Okay, now I'm going to take this other jump ring and thread on my bracelet. Thread on my ring here. Close it up. Okay, now I got another 10-inch piece of my leather. I'm going to put it through my ring, find the ends. And then I'm just going to tie an overhand knot here. I'm going to try to make it down here close to my ring, but not too close. I don't want it to be too tight against my ring. I'm just going to pull on each piece of leather, tighten up my knot. Now I'm going to take my button and see where I need to make my knot for my loop to go. How big my loop needs to be. I'll make it about right there. Just making another overhand knot. Test my button again before I tighten it down. Yeah, that's good. Now I'm just going to tighten my knot, pull on both pieces of leather. Usually use my pliers to help me here and just tighten. Press my button again here before I cut off my leather. It might be a little loose. Let me see if I can tighten it down a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. And now I'm just going to cut off my leather. So there I've got me a little lady's bracelet to match my man's bracelet, I think. Hold on, let me get some of my mess cleaned up and I'll be back. Okay, there are my 3 bracelets. 2 of them that I think kind of sort of match a little. Could be a his and hers, I guess. And then a stretch bracelet here that I made with the products I got from Beebeecraft. If you all decide to order from Beebeecraft, take advantage of that coupon code. It'll save you 10% off your order. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook and Instagram and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope you all have a great day. Take care.